This is lesson number 50 in our unit on solving systems of linear equations. Today we are going to build on our knowledge of using the substitution method, although this time our equations are not going to be as convenient as they were in the past. By the end of this lesson, we will understand and be able to utilize the substitution method for a linear system. Here we have the example x plus 2y equals 6 and 3x minus 4y equals 28. In our previous lessons, we had an equation that looked like this, y equals 2x, and then we had something like y plus x equals 3. Right? Ooh, that's terrible, 3. And then we would take this 2x and we would substitute it in wherever we saw the y, and we would solve. If you notice in our new system here, there is no equation where y or x is by itself. So that's going to be our first task. So whenever you're looking at a system that doesn't already have an equation solved for x or y, you want to say to yourself, okay, what would be the easiest way or easiest equation for me to use in order to get y or x alone? So the easiest time you'll have to doing that is when you take a look at your variables and an x or a y has no coefficient in front of it. So if you look at the example here, x plus 2y equals 6, if you look at that first equation and analyze it, there's an x variable that does not have a coefficient of anything but 1. And that's what we want. We want the x to be alone. And it's pretty simple to move the 2y away, so let's get that x by itself. So if we have x plus 2y equals 6, I'm going to move the 2y by subtracting. So I will have x equals 6 minus 2y. So now I still have the other equation, 3x minus 4y equals 28. But we know that x is equal to 6 minus 2y. So I'm going to replace the x in the second equation with the 6 minus 2y. So we'll take a look here, and we have 3 times 6 minus 2y minus 4y equals 28. We distribute across, so we'll have 18 minus 6y minus 4y equals 28. Combine our like terms. 18 minus 10y equals 28. Subtract our 18 from both sides. Negative 10y equals 10. Divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10, and we get y equals negative 1. Okay, so now we've done it. The only thing that's different from this to our previous lessons is this piece right here, is rearranging so that the x or the y variable is alone. And now that we have the y is equal to negative 1, we go into either equation. I'm going to pick x plus 2y because that seems the easiest for me. And I'm going to substitute negative 1 into the y. X plus 2 times negative 1 equals 6. X negative 2 equals 6. Add 2 to both sides. So we get x equals 8. So our coordinate, or our answer, is 8, negative 1. Here's another example, and here I've written some steps for us to follow along as we go through. Our first step is to solve for x or y, and that is in either equation, whichever is easiest. And remember, look for a coefficient of 1. So you want to look for the variable that has no number in front of it. We look at 4x plus 5y equals 11. Neither one of those variables have a 1 in front of it, or no number. Y minus 3x equals negative 13. Well, that y has no number in front of it, so let's solve for y. If I were to solve for y here, I would add 3x to both sides. So I would get y equals negative 13 plus 3x. So now I don't even care about that first equation anymore. I'm looking at this guy. So we take our first equation, 4x plus 5y equals 11. 4x plus 5 times, now instead of y, I'm going to put negative 13, negative 13 plus 3x equals 11. So 4x, now positive times negative is negative. So we multiply 5 times 13, so 5 times 3 is 15, 65. Okay. 5 times positive 3, x is positive 15x, equals 11. Let's combine our like terms. So we will have 19x minus 65 equals 11. We'll add the 65 to both sides. So we'll get 19x equals 76. Divide by 19 on both sides of our equation. Cross that out. And when you do that division, you can certainly use your calculator for this part of the process. We'll get x equals 4. Now I take a look at my other equation, or any equation. I could take a look at the original one we had here, y minus 3x equals negative 13, or I could use 4x plus 5y equals 11. Either one, doesn't matter. But I'm going to substitute 4 for x, so I'm going to choose the second one. Y minus 3x equals negative 13. Y minus 3, now I'm substituting in my 4, equals negative 13. Y minus 12, negative 13. Add 12 to both sides, and y equals negative 1. So our answer is going to be the coordinate 4, negative 1. And that's the solution to the system.